Awada family. Awada. I just want to say happy Sabbath. I want to say hello to all my new subscribers. I want to say hello to all my subscribers that have been, subscribe to me and that share my videos and that make comments, and because we all, one of us, don't have all of the knowledge. We don't know everything, and we only know a little now. And look how much the little that the Most High has revealed to us and that we have absorbed. Look how the hijack just don't know what to do with itself. And they are fighting amongst themselves. But then the Most High said He will cause them to do that. You sure you really want to be paying attention to these people like that? Left wing, right wing, left arm, right arm. Of the same body. Of the same wicked body. Somebody asked me when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was going each other, who was I going to vote for? I said, I'm not voting at all. They said, oh, why? I said, why would I vote? You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them is going by the Most High agenda. And they roll, even though they represent two different parties, they are of one agenda. They are of one agenda, and this is just a show. And while we think we have a choice and we have in these elections and we vote these people in, no, we are not. They are getting elected from the electoral votes. Your vote don't matter. Your vote don't matter. So stop wasting your time voting when you can be putting that energy into putting our nation back together. Because I'm telling you, this eclipse that's coming on the 21st is one that comes 7 years behind that. Wow, look at that. 7 years behind that. I was thinking about that earlier. And you know what I thought about? And I was like, what does that 7-year period mean? And I thought about Joseph being in Egypt in the 7 years of plenty. 7 years of plenty. Then I was thinking about the 70 weeks. I was thinking about the 70 generations that was in Egypt. I was thinking about the second Exodus is the greater eclipse. The sign of our greater Exodus. Because we know it's about to go down. We're getting ready for it. But it's this 7-year period between these eclipses is for us to really get suited and booted. So we are fully a nation and we look like a nation. We not rocking society apparel. But I done talked long enough, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to talk some more, but let's go on and get to it. It's vicdland. Check it out. Turn this down first.
How's it going? How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you for meeting us, Mr. Taylor.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Europeans have probably, on a per capita basis, killed more than anybody else, but because they were technologically more advanced.
Where does gunpowder come from? It comes from China. It's just that Western civilization took things from people. And I think when you get to older civilizations, they become more benevolent. They don't hang on to things like genetics as much. They understand how experience changes you.
Base them on facts instead. That's essential.
But what I find interesting is you're so into facts and you're so into science, but then you supported Donald Trump, right?
Well, that's a whole different question. That's a whole different subject. Let's get back to...
But I want to know how it is you voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States.
Did you hear what he said?
If you were to deport all illegal immigrants, if you were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up in this country as a minority, as the children of immigrants. I was their first child born in America. And while I didn't have much possession or didn't much control, I really enjoyed myself. And I think that if you ask a lot of Americans, they would say that I had a lot to offer this country. You know, according to you, I guess I would be perpetuating the dispossession of white America.
That is true. That is true.
Would you say that you wouldn't want me in this country?
At some point, when my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian people?
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
But you believe in evolution, right?
Evolution, I think, explains a great deal.
So, according to evolutionary theory, we're all out of Africa. So, at some point, your ancestors were sub-Saharan Africans.
So what? At some point, our ancestors were unicellular animals.
So I'm saying, at any point in time, we could say you were an African. So you're choosing to pick this point in time and say you're a descendant of white Europeans.
Why do you think I'm choosing this point of time?
Because it's in favor of your politics.
It's because I'm alive now.
Well, my issue with you is that I don't think you have enough compassion and vision, not because I don't like what things are now. It's that I have hope and belief in what they could be.
Look.
We gonna watch it again.
How's it going?
This is a white nationalist, okay?
Yeah.
Europeans have probably, on a per capita basis, killed more than anybody else, but because they were technologically more advanced.
Where does gunpowder come from? It comes from China.
He says Europeans has killed more than anybody else because they were technically advanced. Okay, number one, you admit to y'all fooling with these fallen angels and these fallen angels technology.
It's just that Western civilization took things from people. And I think when you get to older civilizations, they become more benevolent. They don't hang on to things like genetics as much. They understand how experience changes you.
Assimilation,
Based them on facts instead.
raping in.
That's essential.
But what I find interesting is you're so into facts and you're so into science, but then you supported Donald Trump, right?
Well, that's a whole different question. That's a whole different subject. Let's get
Whole
back
different
to
question, whole different subject. Why he voted for Donald Trump? Is he all about the facts? Because he had to vote for him. It was part of the agenda.
You voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States.
Would slow the dispossession of
if
whites.
If you were to deport all illegal immigrants, if you were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims.
Deport all immigrants. That means the people who claim they are African American, Mexicans, Asians, Chinese, everybody go home. Only the white people stay. But then watch what he say later. If they become a minority here, if they lose power here, these lies. Look, y'all. America, our land. It is their last stronghold. It's a lot for these boys.
All of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up in this country as a minority, as the children of immigrants. I was their first child.
I'm on playback, I'm sorry.
And while I didn't have facts, it was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If you were to deport all illegal immigrants, if you were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority.
And if they have places where whites are not a majority, that means that's not their fucking home, man. So this y'all last stronghold, huh? It's cool. But it ain't cool. But it's cool because your time up. It ain't cool because you really believe this sick shit.
If we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up
Won't
in this
control your own
as a
destiny
minority,
anymore.
as the
That
children
means
of immigrants. I
manifest
was their first
destiny
child born in
is
America.
over,
And
nigga.
while I
It's a
didn't
wrap.
have much possession or didn't have much control, I really enjoyed myself. And I think that if you ask a lot of Americans, they would say that I had a lot to offer this country. You know, according to you, I guess
Watch how
I
mad
would
he
be
get.
perpetuating the dispossession of white America.
That is true. That is
So,
true.
would you say that you wouldn't want me in this country?
At some point,
At some point, you will want that nigga the country.
when
At some
my
point, you
ancestors
gotta
built
go.
this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans,
Same people, same people,
Chinese people
same
who came
people.
and built the railroads,
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian
achieved?
people.
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
But
You
you
gonna say
believe
you
in
think none of
evolution,
that
right?
could have been achieved without them,
Evolution,
but
I
y'all
think,
didn't do it
explains
without
a
us,
great-
motherfucker.
So, according to evolutionary theory, we're all out of Africa. So, at some point, your ancestors were sub-Saharan Africans.
So what? At some point, our ancestors were unicellular animals.
So I'm saying, at
Check
any
what he
point
say,
in
check
time,
what he say.
we could say you were an African. So you're
what?
choosing to pick this point in time and
Which
say
he is
you're
an African.
a descendant of white
The
Europeans.
white kingdoms
Why do
in
you think I'm
Africa.
choosing this point of time?
Because it's in favor of your politics. At
It's
this
because
point.
I'm alive now.
Because he's choosing, because since he's
Well,
alive
I
now,
that I don't
he
think you have
has
enough
the
compassion.
right. Thanks to Nicholas the Fifth Pope, dumbed out verses 1452, granted them that their successors can take over. So, he got the right. But how do you have the right to take over something that does not belong to you? When you know it don't belong to you. But that's all you got. He said evolution makes sense in many ways. It explains a lot. It explains to him the mixing of the blood. It explains to him the mutations of his species. So he's trying to fill in these gaps with science instead of with the truth. But that's okay. I'm gonna read, I'm about to read again. It's the Sabbath, and I got something nice to read, so give me 1 second. Okay, we are going to be in Psalms 92. Psalms 92. It's called the piety of praise, a psalm or song for the Sabbath day. Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh and to sing praise unto his name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon the instrument of 10 strings, and upon the prosty, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, has made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in thy work of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A stupid man knoweth not, neither does a fool understand this. When the wicked spring up like the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art most high for evermore. For lo, thy enemies, O Yahweh, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. For my horn shall thou exalt like the horn of an wild ox.